There's the signal. Hey, we got it right this time. Maybe. Hi guys, Rob here with my trusty sidekick, the Hair Hero. I wasn't planning on doing a video this evening, but the last couple of days I was inspired while taking a shower. That may be more information than you needed, but I got to thinking about things. I don't know if you saw Panhandle Prepper's video from a couple of days ago. He was going to go bass fishing and managed to auger his hand pretty good. And so, not to be outdone, over the last couple of days I have gotten a steam burn on my arm and ripped a chunk out of this finger and pinched myself with a pair of pliers here and ripped up some fingers here, and here. Those weren't too bad, just more aggravating. And got attacked by some bees because I shoved my face in a little too close to them today and got stung here, and here. No big deal. But it got me thinking. After a collapse or some bad thing happening, especially this is for us guys, as I swat a mosquito. Got him. As guys, when we get hurt, cut our finger or something like that, and we're like, oh, there's a piece of skin, let's get that off of there, and then just shake the blood off. And maybe if it's still bleeding and making a mess, we'll take a piece of a shop rag and tape it on there with some electrical tape or duct tape or whatever we happen to have, and we call it good and we don't worry about it until later we're in the shower and we forget it's there and scrub it with a washcloth or rake off that layer of skin that was getting ready to come off, whatever. But in a situation, mosquito, we got plenty of mosquitoes in here. In a situation where things are even a little bit less good than they are for us right now. Right now we get hurt and we ignore something and it gets worse. We can go to the doctor and they'll give us something for it and we're okay. But in a collapse or apocalypse or whatever scenario, you can't let that stuff go. You got to deal with it. You get a cut or a scratch, you deal with it then. You stop whatever you're doing and you take care of it so that it doesn't get worse. And that seems silly, especially to me. I'm always, in the line of work I do, I'm always getting a scratch or a cut or a jab or something. If I don't come home with a little bit of blood on me, the girls and Christy think I actually didn't go to work that day. So it's something to think about. And when you do that too, it's the kind of thing, we're off down the rabbit hole a little bit here again, but if things are bad enough that that's a real issue, you want to have somebody in your group, in your bunch, that is the person that's in charge of administering the medicine, however it is. If it's a little Neosporin and a bandage, you want somebody that they're the ones that do it and they make a note of it, the date, the nature of the injury, what they did to fix it up, and anything else they happen to think of. And they keep a journal like that, and that is a critical, important thing to be able to keep up with other things that go on. And it doesn't matter what it is. And I'm serious. I've had little cuts that I didn't take care of, and the next thing you know, I think Wes S. was talking about this, was a mesquite thorn. People that don't understand mesquite don't realize a mesquite thorn, to quote a movie, mesquite thorn's bad poison. And you can get a thumb swole up the size of your wrist pretty easy. It doesn't always happen, but I've had cuts that did things like that. You look at it a couple of days later and it's all red and, what do they say, angry looking. And it gets really sore, and then pretty soon your whole side of your hand or up your wrist is hurting a little bit. You can't ignore stuff like that in that kind of a thing. So it was just a little quick video, like I say, just to talk about that. Have you thinking about that? You know, if you don't have much in the way of a first aid kit or whatever, that's okay. Mostly we're probably not going to have to worry about, you know, packing a gunshot wound or doing that kind of thing. At least I hope we don't. Now, it's still something to think about too. But especially if you're having to cut firewood just to do your cooking with, and if you're having to work in a garden and work with tools and do all kinds of things like that, especially if you're not used to doing that kind of thing, then you need to be ready, because you're going to get cuts and jabs and scrapes and things like that that need to be dealt with. So stock up on some antibiotic ointment, lots of little Band-Aids. Band-Aids and antibiotic ointment are cheap. We can get a 3-pack of antibiotic ointment at Sam's for what, like $5 something?
More than that.
Is it more than that?
Probably more like 15.
15, okay. But a little tube of that stuff, and if you don't go crazy with it, and it doesn't take but just a little wipe of it to do its job, that'll last a long time. And Band-Aids, good grief, when our girls were little, we'd go through Band-Aids. They might change Band-Aids 3 times a day because they were tired of Scooby, and now we want Barney or whoever the Band-Aid was. But even still, you know, I got a Band-Aid on this. This is a good one of those cloth adhesive ones. It'll last me a couple of days even working, but it'll eventually get wet and it'll slip off, and I'll just put another one on. Stock up on it. That kind of stuff is cheap right now and easy to do. It's the kind of thing you ought to have around the house anyway. Anyway, that's about it. I just wanted to throw that at you and say thanks. I got some people on here I'm really enjoying getting to know that y'all watch my videos and you send me comments, and some of you I've even talked to on the phone and email back and forth. That's a pretty cool thing. That's something I'm noticing a lot of us, especially in kind of our bunch, and even on a couple of the other groups. Everybody talks to each other and they comment and they support each other, and that's a cool thing. You know, sometimes you see it's called a mutual support group or mutual assistance group. Sometimes supporting people and just encouraging other people is a huge, big thing. There's people out there that are dealing with stuff that we don't know about, and sometimes a good word or kind of a pat on the back or a little encouragement goes a long way and makes a huge difference in people's lives. If you haven't seen it, be on the lookout for it. I've seen it. Times when I didn't think it helped, and there's some great people, and I'm going long on that just to say thank you. I'm enjoying getting to know everybody, and y'all have a good night. Probably won't be night when you watch it. Whatever you're about to have a good one, and we'll talk to you later. Cheers.